Sup, Reitanna? It's Reitanna Seishin here, back for another monthly thank you to patrons. I tried to recalibrate my expressions, so hopefully they're a little better. My problem is when I look down, it thinks I'm sad. And I try to furrow my brow when I'm calibrating the expressions to be like, sad, this is sad, 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 sad. And then this is angry, this is angry, angry, meow! That's what my cat says. She says, why are you talking to not me? But I don't know. I don't know. Meow. So if I look sad, I mean, sometimes when I make this expression where my expression is just soft, it does mean that I'm sad, but other times I'm just neutral. So I gotta kind of, even when my eyes are open like this, it's kind of hard to not have a sad expression. So I'm sorry. Cat, oh my god. I'm kind of hoping that future updates will maybe have better calibration. I don't know. So unlike what we've been doing in the past, I'm going to go ahead and thank the patrons first before I do more just talking. God, in my background, the chimney bricks are not going the same perspective as the TV. Someday I'm going to make a 3D model of my encephalon house, and that will fit my avatar a lot better, because now you got 3D conflicting with 2D, so yeah. Alright, enough talking. So, for this month, thank you very much to Dustguts, Invader Satan, Ravenna Song, The Blue-Haired Boy, Randomly Weird, Embla, Destiny's Wish, Lemon's Web, Katie Crowley, and Jade Coyote. My cat thanks you too. Mom! Why aren't you talking to me? Oh my gosh. And my facial expressions are not working. Anyways, so just as a little update, like I said before, Evelyn is bored of doing the channel. It's not one of her hyper focuses, so it's my avatar can't make a grimace. It's been kind of difficult right now. Honestly, I've been wanting to just take back the channel, and maybe even me picking up on Pokemon where she left off. I don't know. I do have one idea that people on the Discord have said is probably a good idea. Is I don't get any therapy until August, and I obviously need it. Especially now that I'm fully vaccinated. Yes, I am fully vaccinated. No more masks for me, unless the building, the place we're going to, says that you still need a mask. But oh my god, I hated wearing a mask because it made me so hot, and hot makes me dizzy and I get all sick. That's why I can't take too hot of showers or baths, and why I hate summer, and why I hate global warming. So anyway, I want to do long ass rants again, but I want to do them so that the videos are only available to patrons, and set up a YouTube membership. I also want to do that with muffins. I had this really funny idea. So for the public muffins narrations, I wanted to just have my text reader do it. Yeah, just my text reader for the videos that go out to the general public. And then for patrons and YouTube members, I would have the actual narrations. Now, the editor I had who was working on The Final Crusade just disappeared. And I don't know if he or she is watching this. I don't know their gender, their pronouns. If they're watching this, I need some kind of confirmation whether you decided to stop working on it or if you're still working on it, because right now I think you died of COVID, and I'm honestly worried about this person. Now, the thing that I can't stand is not being told something when like if you ask for customer service, like you ask a question on a website, it says contact us, and you ask a question and then you don't get answered. Or if you ask an artist, can I, reference this, or can I use this, and then they don't answer you. It's like, you can say no, and a no is better than silence. So if you're not dead, if something didn't happen to you, if something didn't happen to your internet or something, if you don't want to edit my narration, can you please just email me and tell me? I tried reaching out to you with email and you didn't answer. Now, I don't know if you fell for the idiots who, spread a bunch of rumors about me in 2020, but obviously none of it was true. And if you don't believe me, well, for one, you'd be silly not to believe me, because I don't lie. And for two, excuse me, for two, I need water. I went out of my fucking way to record a 4-hour video responding to that hateful video. I almost killed myself because of that video to debunk every single claim. Okay? And the one thing that I did wrong that was true, that I thought wasn't because I didn't remember doing it, I apologized for. And no, I have not been forgiven. And no, I do not expect forgiveness. And no, I have not forgiven myself. It is something that I wish to move past because I've done everything that I can possibly do in my power. And yes, I apologize to the person. They did not respond back. They did not forgive me, and they are not obligated to. So I am sorry for that. Okay? It does not make me a bad person. And me being emotional does not make me a bad person. Me emoting does not make me a bad person. The things I say online are often misconstrued to the point where people jump down my throat. I'm like, if I had my leap motion, I'd be holding my hands up. What did I do wrong? Seriously, what the fuck did I do wrong? I'm about to... Oh my gosh, she's crying. Like, just the longest meows. Cat. I'm about to lock you out of the room. Oh my god, you're so lucky. I love you. You are distracting me. Oh, if I didn't have my children, I don't know what I would do. If I didn't have my husband and my children, I don't know what I would do. So, to speak on that, I should probably actually... Meow. Oh, I got a message on it. No, not a message, just some things. Okay. I want to read this blog really quick. So, it's called You'll Know When I'm Being Hostile. And remember, there are a lot of factors playing at here. One, I have speech and social development issues because of the way I was raised, the way my environment. I wasn't allowed to talk at home without getting hit most of the time. If she was sober, I was lucky, but she wasn't often sober. So, and my social anxiety makes it worse because I'm trying to socialize with people the only way I have, because I may be an introvert, but I'm still human and we need human contact. And all I want to do is be able to comment on something without being called rude or a bitch. And, when I say something that people automatically assume are like rude or bitchy, I'm like, how can you take it that way? So, and also, I know I've said this a billion times, but I keep having to reminding people that I might be autistic. I don't know if I am. We're gonna look into it during my husband's vacation. We just, he works the full hours. He's tired, he's exhausted, that job drains him, and he might be up for another job. But we don't know about that yet. And it'll be much better for him if he does, and I fully support him. Hang on. Cat. I know, but I know, okay? Bye. I said cat and she ran out of the room. She's so weird. And she is the dumbest cat. Like, she is so dumb. If you think your cat is dumb, this cat is dumb. Anyway, so, it's possible that the reason why I say things that seem to come off badly to other people is because I'm on the spectrum. Again, I'm not saying definitely, okay? I cannot say I have something without being properly tested. And, it's been a long time since, I started having these suspicions. And, and a lot of other signs from my past and my present it'll make me surprised if I'm tested and I'm not on the spectrum, honestly. And I'm not the only one who has this problem either. There are plenty of my friends online who have social anxiety and are on the spectrum who have these problems where they say something, especially in text, and it gets taken the wrong way. And the problem is when we try to explain ourselves, the people who are accusing us of being rude don't even give us the light of day. We're like, I'm trying to tell you this, I'm trying to explain to you that's not how I meant it, and they're all like, bah, 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 fuck you, da, 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 da. So, and it's really, really, really hard through text. I try my best to, sometimes there are obvious cues. I'm one of those people who give obvious cues in my comments if I mean it to be mean. But if there aren't any obvious cues, I have to ask if the person is being hostile or not. And usually if I just reply with a simple reply, even if I'm not sure how they're doing it, and I reply with a civil reply, usually the next reply will tell me what's going on, and even then I will ask for clarification. I'm not needlessly mean. I have a video explaining this exact thing from a few years ago. I have this problem. I've had this problem my whole life. Okay? It's not my fault, unfortunately. I can't go to some kind of speech therapy because you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm past the critical period when it comes to language, and there's nothing I can do. It's the same reason why I can't learn Japanese. I tried, and funnily enough, I didn't start learning Japanese before the critical period, so I lost everything I learned. I took French class for 3 years, lost everything I learned because it was after the critical period. So, okay, let's get into this. Since it's so hard for people to ask people like me to clarify what they meant in a text comment and instead jump down our throats and act like we want to upset people, I feel I have to make something abundantly clear, which I shouldn't have to. There will be no confusion as to how my tone is if you regularly see my comments. I'm not exactly the type to hide my feelings. Unless the comment is like the following example, I am being civil. I have development issues that have, unfortunately, made it very difficult to say things properly, and I am not the only one with these issues. Here is hostility. Now, in order to not fake this... Okay. You know what? In order to not fake this, I need to go to one of these. Oh, yeah. In that... God damn it. In that video... with Hotbox, when I was telling somebody that unfortunately I've always been a dangerous type of person, especially when I was a kid and I didn't know better, I was left to my own devices, and my own devices were not good devices, and I told them, I've always been a dangerous person, but ultimately I've gotten better over the years, especially with medication. I'm a danger to myself. I can be a danger to other people. My medication has made it so I don't punch the walls or kick the walls anymore. I don't try to hit my poor husband. I've never tried to hit an animal. Except for when I was little and got angry at a dog who chewed on my toy and I kicked him in the nuts. Immediately felt guilty. And I was young. So I did a lot of nasty things when I was young because I didn't have... Aaron just thought that I was, just... I don't even know what she thought. I was mentally ill and I had no help. I am much better now. But that comment, Hotbox read it like I was proud of it. Like I've always been a very dangerous person. Like r/I am very badass. And no, that's fucking retarded. And I'm sorry for saying that word, but seriously, you have to be... I'm gonna take back retarded, because retarded doesn't actually mean stupid. It means, it's a learning disability. It doesn't necessarily make someone stupid, but it makes them makes it very hard for them to take in information and understand it, I suppose. So I'm just gonna say you'd have to be really, really fucking stupid to read a comment from me that says something like that in a proud voice. It's like that one chick that one 16-year-old who would brag about, cutting herself. Like, my hobbies include cutting myself, and she ended up stabbing a 4-year-old child to death and said in her diary, "I killed somebody. It was so cool." No. Fuck you. To anybody who thought that I was being proud of that, because that's nothing to be proud of. So, yeah. How can you not understand me? Are you so stupid that you can't tell the difference between people being rude and people just talking like normal? I shouldn't have to fucking clarify anything. I shouldn't have to fucking endure your fucking hate I get every time I simply try to fucking speak to someone. You're just a complete asshole who enjoys pissing people off and creating conflict, so you fucking pretend my comment meant something it clearly didn't. If you're not that type of person, then why didn't you just ask me to reiterate, you moron? It doesn't help that you cannot hear my voice, which you'd easily be able to tell that I was, in fact, being fucking civil. I don't get how some people can understand me and some can't. The people who understand me like me. So does that mean that all you fuckers who misunderstand me hate me? I'm a human. I have feelings. I get angry. Sue me. If you were civil and just asked me to clarify, I would have been civil with you too. It's not that fucking hard. Now, to be clear of how... Okay. No, let me take a drink of water. To be able to see how hostile I am in a comment, obviously you can't hear me speaking like that. But I will link to this blog post in the description so you can see how I would write a hostile comment. I continue. Now when I'm making just a regular comment, I type like this where I don't bother capitalizing things unless autocorrect does it for me. And I use all caps as emphasis instead of italics, especially when italics are not available. So if I say on this blog, I am not going to put that spider in my mouth, on an average comment it turns into, I am not going to put that spider into my mouth. You have to read this. All caps can indicate shouting and aggression, but when it's used in place of italics, you can tell. If I said, I could do that, but I'm too lazy, it doesn't mean I'm shouting the word could. It doesn't mean I'm saying, I could do that, but I'm too lazy. Doesn't mean I'm shouting the word could when the rest of my sentence is said normally. I don't capitalize stuff because a comment isn't important in the way more professional documentation is, like a story or my blog posts. I also swear, even if I'm being civil. If I say, don't worry, I had to deal with that shit too, it does not mean I'm being aggressive. If I say, of course I have reasons to live, but it doesn't mean I'm not sick of this fucking world, that is also not an aggressive comment. I guess it's aggressive toward the world, but it's the same as saying, of course I have reasons to live, but it doesn't mean I'm not sick of this ludicrous world. Using the curse shows aggression toward the subject within the sentence. It doesn't mean I'm speaking to you rudely because you are not the source of my aggression if you are being civil. Despite these two things, you can tell when I'm hostile by using swear words in practically every sentence and making it obvious that I am shouting certain things using all caps. You can tell the tone by the rest of the words in the sentence. You're a fucking idiot does show emphasis, but the sentence is clearly being hostile toward the person I am talking to, because even if you're not shouting this and saying it calmly, it is not a nice statement to receive. There's also an abundance of exclamation marks that indicate the raising of my voice, as I would do if you were to hear me instead. But the most important indication is simply the insulting words. Honestly, my mind thinks that people who didn't read my comments improperly are morons. But over the last year and a half, especially with the suspicion that I'm autistic, I've kind of realized that, hey, maybe they aren't morons, and my text makes sense to me and a few others because of how our brains work. Well, some are morons. There's just no escaping them in any situation. But for others, perhaps it's not their fault they took it that way. Maybe they honestly, typo, thought I was being rude. I can't understand why, but that's because I simply can't. I just wish people would, just ask for clarification. I'd do that if I couldn't tell if the comment was hostile or not. But I've said things that weren't bad that made people go, my God, this is how you treat people? I just don't get it. Should I be attaching an audio file of my voice for every comment I leave? But I've noticed the number of people misunderstanding me has increased, which clearly means that people who hate me are actively stalking me still, just so they can act hostilely towards something I said that was civil, using mob psychology to plant the ideas into innocent people's brains so that they also think I am being nasty, not knowing that the idea was planted there and not their own assumption. I think they're just mad that they got me so close to killing myself, but they failed and I'm still alive. Sorry. I happen to have a husband who loves me. I don't know what to do when it comes to this. I can't undo my speech and social development issues. If I could, man, I'd be a happier person. When someone responds to a comment of mine saying I was rude, I don't want to keep throwing my arms in the air, shouting to myself, what did I do now? So many times the accusations are absolutely baffling to me. They are confusing, I don't understand how it could have been taken that way, and this has to be some kind of plot against me. It has to be. I just hope that this blog reaches people who have misunderstood me and made them go, oh, okay, I get it now. I am not needlessly rude. I've said this a million times. I'm kind to people who are who have not shown unkindness. There is no reason for me to be rude to someone who hasn't said anything wrong. It's illogical. It makes me sad when people don't believe me, and even more when people don't give me a chance to explain, because their decision is the most important thing in the world, and nothing will change it. Not even solid facts and evidence. Anyway, yeah, as usual, this hasn't been proofread. Sorry for my imperfections, but you can't expect me to be perfect when I'm just a somewhat recognizable name on the internet. I'm human, not God. As much as I would love to be perfect, to never do anything wrong, never make a mistake, to always be able to finish my projects and not fail, just perfection, but nobody's like that, and I'm one of the people who are furthest from that. And when people tell me that, you're just fine, Reitanna, you're perfect, it honestly hurts for people to say that. I know they have their heart set in, the right place, but it's because I'm not perfect and I'm a perfectionist. Those two things clash so horribly. And then people accuse me of thinking that I'm perfect, and I'm like, there is absolutely no evidence of that. And there is probably millions of statements I have telling that the exact opposite, saying the exact opposite. And unfortunately, whenever somebody calls me vain or narcissist or claims that I think I'm perfect or I think I'm better than everyone else, it forces me to beat my already low self-esteem down to where I roll my eyes when my husband calls me pretty or cute. And I've done that the entire time I've known him. I've done that for, before that. And they say that people pick on you because they're just jealous. Sometimes, most of the time, it's not because they're jealous. I mean, what are they jealous of? My amateur talents. I'm going to say amateur talents because I am not the greatest at everything I do. I'm a better writer than anything. And I've been unable to write since like mid 2019, maybe even before, because I just haven't had the motivation. So I'm really out of practice. And, I'm getting better at 3D modeling. I'm honestly not the best drawer. There's some things that I can draw just really well, and some things I can't. That's part of the reason why I use bases that are free to use, except for that one that I did pay for that I haven't used yet. And also why I reference poses, because it's easier for me to draw people that way when it's not, completely stylized. Now, bases are not perfect, and I often have to fix a lot of proportions. And from my speed paint videos, I, say in the description how long it took altogether. And, I don't do it all in the same day. So if something took me 13 hours, it was over the progress of a couple of days, sometimes a couple of weeks, depending on how my motivation levels are. But emotional burnout is a really bad and problematic thing. And let me just go ahead and... There are different types of burnout. Emotional burnout and occupational burnout are the most common, while social burnout is common amongst introverts, which is why I can't go on the Discord very often, which is why I can't talk on the phone, and which is why I prefer messages that I can answer at my leisure. being out in public for too long. I'll often have to, if I haven't taken an anxiety pill, I have to tell Michael we have to go now because I'm on the verge of a panic attack. This post will focus on emotional burnout because all kinds of burnout center on the unpleasant emotions we feel because of a particular situation. I imagine occupational burnout is what Michael is feeling. So emotional burnout is a state in which one feels worn out mentally because of accumulated stress from a situation in their personal life. It could be work-related, school-related, relationship-related, or it could be related to any other aspect of your life. Burnout can be very exhausting to experience. It affects how we function and how we interact with other people. It can be that itch at the back you can't reach, but it is there nonetheless. Anyone can be at risk of experiencing emotional burnout, but it is most common amongst people with demanding jobs, caregivers, people going through a major life change, such as loss of a loved one, living with a chronic illness, and financial stress. The list of life challenges is endless. People who are facing major life challenges are at high risk of emotional burnout. And I have a few mental disorders that cause me constant stress. It is therefore essential to know how to deal with emotional burnout because it can happen to anyone at any stage of life. Effects of not dealing with emotional burnout. Before talking about dealing with emotional burnout, it is important to talk about the effect of emotional burnout, wow, on mental and physical health if we do not deal with it. Below are several effects that emotional burnout has on your health. Unhealthy release of stress hormones. Stress hormones are very important in helping us detect threats in our day-to-day life. They even motivate us to take action to eradicate the threat. When the threat resolved, shouldn't I say when the threat is resolved? Anyway, the body goes back to its normal functioning state. However, a continuous release of stress hormones is bad for your health because stress hormones put the body in a state to deal with a threat. That means high heart rate, high blood pressure, increased blood sugar levels, and increased use of energy. Cortisol will also impair other bodily functions that are not useful in the fight or flight situation. This means a continuous release of the hormone will interfere with the digestive system, immune system, and reproductive system. Let me just, to anybody who harassed me in 2020, just let that sink in for a moment, okay? Okay. Physical ailments. Because the body is continuously on fight or flight mode, emotional burnout could cause a change in eating habits, which it definitely did, sleeping patterns, which it did, digestive problems, which I just have digestive problems anyway, weight loss or weight gain, which it did, heart palpitations. I'd have to look at the exact definition of palpitations, high blood pressure, which it did, and headaches, which it always does. Challenges in social interaction. Emotional burnout may also result in failure to interact well with loved ones and coworkers. This is because of certain feelings that the individual is dealing with, such as anxiety, depression, apathy, lack of motivation, confusion, low self-esteem, and feelings of hopelessness. These feelings may be difficult or confusing to deal with, and they interfere with how one interacts with the people around them. So ways to deal with emotional burnout. I'm just going to list the titles. Acknowledge that you are suffering from emotional burnout. Identify why you are experiencing emotional burnout. Establish solutions to your problem. Take a time out. Take better care of yourself. Now, all I've been doing is trying to take better care of myself, try to lower my stress, and try to be happy. And people have not been letting me do that, especially for the people who think that muffins is the most important thing in their life and that they cannot live without it and therefore should harass me and call me lazy for not working on it, even though it is obvious that I am far from lazy when it comes to projects. Okay? There are things that interfere. There are technical things that interfere. There are life things that interfere. There are mental and emotional things that interfere. And you just have to accept them. YouTube is... It's not a job anymore. It hasn't been a job for a lot of people since the adpocalypse. I used to be making $600 a month, and that was good enough for me. And even though my channel was still at that quality after the adpocalypse, I'm making barely anything. I think it's like $200 a month, maybe. But after Hotbox's little video, my financial situation tanked. And I'm trying to just live. I'm trying to just live my life. I have morals. There are bad things that people do that I do not do. And every day is a battle. Because I wake up from nightmares. Oh, God. I wrote a blog about the worst nightmare, hands down, in my entire life that I've ever had. Thankfully, it's been long enough for me to forget those images, and I will never read the blog post again, and I implore any of you who are my friends, who are nice, who are just random people, anybody who hasn't done anything wrong to me, do not read that blog post, especially if you have triggers for sexual abuse. To anybody who harassed me for 2020, I encourage you to read it, to show you what you did to me. I already had one person apologize. Said, I may not agree with your characters, I may not like you very much. It's fine. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like me. All you have to do is be a person, be a human being, and say, well, I don't really like this person, so I'm gonna go ahead and live my life. But unfortunately, like I said before, it's not because they're jealous. It's because they honestly enjoy causing pain to people, especially for those of us who cannot hide our pain. And it's awful. You cannot change them. You can't. And you'll wonder why for the rest of your life, why people are treating you like this. When you've proven through life experiences and actions that you're not the person they say you are. And people know it. In fact, they probably know it. They most likely know it and are just talking shit just to hurt you. And I wish I was like Michael and can shove things off. You know? I wish that, somebody can say, hey, someone made a bad video about you. I wish I could just go, okay, and move on. But instead, I feel, I don't watch the video, of course, and I go, somebody wasted their time to do that. And I have to imagine myself doing such a thing. To call out somebody by name, first of all, to stalk them, to say everything they do is shit, even though that's not my opinion, to the point where I'm insulting you for not liking something. For, let's say you don't like tentacle hentai. And I don't like tentacle hentai either, but what if I did? And I go, you don't like tentacle hentai? What a freak. This is such a bad person. What if I called you out, random screen name, because I didn't like you and I had problems with your stuff? Or maybe I liked your stuff, but then I was an asshole and you blocked me and I just couldn't handle that. So I make videos about you, calling you by your name, not keeping you anonymous. And the fact that I almost had somebody who was willing to talk to me, the person who thought saying, age is just a number, ... in some cases. That person ghosted me. And I don't know why. I don't know why. And I figured they must have had somebody manipulate them, and I think I know who it was, to talk them out of it. And that makes me think, if you are dumb enough to fall for that person's manipulation tactics instead of, looking at me, who doesn't use manipulation tactics, unless I used to do it a lot. I used to do it a lot. But I've grown in my adulthood, especially with the medication. The medication definitely helps. I have to say that when, quote-unquote, Anatier takes over, yeah, Anatier is really manipulative. But I've been on my medication, and I've had no intention of manipulating anybody. If I could manipulate somebody, if I wanted to, I would... I don't even know what the outcome would be. But all I try to do is be honest. And no, saying that some people deserve to die does not mean you cannot trust me. Those things are not related. I'm not saying, I'm gonna kill you. It's just fucking stupid. But she ghosted me. And I think if you have to be that dumb to not see who's actually being good to you, then the reason you thought what I said was creepy must be because you're dumb too. Because if you are fluent in English, if English is your first language, you should know that when somebody says, in some cases, it means that the previous statement is not always true. Pill bugs are blue. In some cases, that is true. Let's see. Eating puffer fish can kill you, or have killed people in some cases. Lightning can be red, or lightning is red in some cases. And did you know that the phrase, age is just a number, was originally to discuss maturity? And that especially goes for people like me, who has a body that aged and a mind that didn't. Oh, you're an adult, you shouldn't be watching cartoons. Age is just a number. You're an adult, you shouldn't be playing video games. Age is just a number. Why do you eat so much candy if you're an adult? Age is just a fucking number. And you know who stole that from us? Pedophiles. And you know very well that I did not use age is just a number in that way. That is why I said in some cases. I said that because there is often a connotation, thanks to pedophiles, where age is just a number is creepy. But I said in some cases, which means every other case than that. Pill bugs are mostly gray. In some cases they are blue. Lightning is often, white? In some cases, it can be red. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to understand. And apparently she was 14 when she read that comment. And you know what? I didn't know what the comment before that said. Why did I reply with that? I don't know. What was the previous comment about? I can only imagine it had to do with maturity. Because I would never ever say age is just a number when it comes to a sexual relationship. Never. Ever. I cannot stress that enough. I have never believed that in my life. Ever. And this is something that I'm never going to get over. Because these people traumatized me. All because, for one, I wasn't doing muffins. For two, I wanted to lose weight and somebody couldn't handle that because they were a fat ass too. And also because somebody stole a character of mine and quote unquote made it better. Petty reasons. The smallest of reasons. You know what I have never said? Seriously. I might have said it jokingly. Do you know who I am? I'm Reitanna fucking Seishin. I have never said that. Never. Because, do you know who I am? Most likely not. I am not famous. I am not popular. I am not well known. I might be now for all the wrong reasons. But I am a human being who's just trying to live her life, pay for bills and student loans, food for the kids, who's just trying to make it. After an entire childhood and adolescenthood, I don't know if that's a word, of torment from people who are supposed to love me. And some bitch said that me talking about my abuse was complaining. You know what that is? That's like saying that a rape victim is complaining about her attacker. Or his. Or their. Or its. You know what I mean. It's usually a female who's... usually female women who are attacked, unfortunately. I personally don't understand why people have such a hard time touching, but that's another subject. Would you really say that? Or a kidnapped victim? Oh, you're complaining about your kidnapper who tortured you with thumb screws and shit. Get over it. Oh, what? You saw your mother get murdered? You almost got murdered yourself? Why are you complaining about that shit? And that person who said that is just mad because they made a big deal about something, they became toxic, and I blocked them. If I block you, just move on. Get over it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Seriously. And it's something that I would have moved on from if she hadn't decided to escalate it. That's the problem. This has turned into the last free long-ass rant. I'm gonna leave the comments open on this video. If you listen this far, I want you to tell me a couple of things. Do you want me to do long-ass rants again? Because if I do, I will restrict it to paying, to donations only, basically. Do you want me to take the channel back? There was a third one. What was it? Oh. Would you be okay? Would you rather have no muffins publicly or a text reader muffins publicly? With, no music, no voice acting, nothing. It's simply, I let my text reader read it, and then I upload it. What would you rather have? No muffins or that? Because I am still not in an emotional situation where I can edit the stuff. And technical difficulties are one of the main problems. I am stressed all the time. And your stress affects you physically. And my lifespan, if I die naturally, I'm not going to live very long. If I die naturally, I'm willing to bet I'm going to die in my late 60s. And I remember that. I'm going to go for 68 or 69. I don't want to get old, so I kind of hope that I die before then, but at the same time, I just... But I'm calling it here, 68 or 69. That is when I'll die of a natural cause. I'm already getting gray hair. Well, actually, it's Snow White. And I had to shave my head again because my stress was causing me to pull more. I have a large wound on my pelvis that Michael doesn't know about that started to smell like a rotting corpse the other day, and I was just like, oh, well, time to wash you. And it hurts. And I just want to live. I just want to live my life. I want to go back to the way things were. But getting older, having less energy, things in life getting in your way, and people who would rather hurt you than just get on with their own life, who think that hurting other people is being productive. I don't know what my avatar is doing right now, so I'm leaning against my hand, so my avatar probably looks like it's like, meh. And I really hope that leaving this video open for comments isn't a mistake. All I want is for people who can't say something nice to not say anything at all. That'd be different if I told you, hey, so-and-so, you're a bitch, without you even talking to me first, or with you never said something bad to me. I just suddenly come up to you and be like, and you're like, huh? That is different. You throw the stone, you're gonna throw it back, right? You throw the first punch, that person's gonna be confused, be like, why the fuck did you punch me? And most likely punch you back. That's how it works. It's just been really hard to be happy. Especially when your mind just goes to all the negative things and just thinks about the bad stuff. And I'm having trouble losing weight because of it too, even though I'm exercising. And it's funny, it's really funny. I'm a 165 last time I checked, which wasn't too long ago. I'd gone down to 163 and then gained 2 pounds. That's fun. But I've been exercising enough to where my shins do not hurt. My ankle still hurts, but that's because that's a torn tendon, and I want to lurk in the surgery. I want to look into surgery for it, and hopefully it's not too late to get surgery on it, because I was a little cowardly bitch and didn't get surgery when I first tore it, because I was afraid of needles, and now I don't give a shit. My first COVID shot didn't feel a thing. My second one hurt a little bit, but I wasn't afraid of the needle being there. And people would ask, how can you sew if you're afraid of needles? I'm like, it's a different kind of needle, smartass. I'm not sticking those needles in me. And honestly, I have nightmares where I'm finding random sewing needles and pins inside my body. All over the place, even inside my mouth. They're sticking me everywhere. They're deep. I have to try and pull them out, and it hurts. Everything gives me nightmares. Animal Crossing has given me nightmares. I hate my brain. And this is not a now realization. This is I've known it, and I've always known it. I hate my brain. Michael hates my brain too. He hates my forgetfulness too. Apparently we had watched an honest trailer of a movie, I think it's called Raya and the Last Dragon. I didn't remember it, so he played it for me again. And then afterward he's like, none of that, you can't recall any of that. And I'm like, I gave him kind of a sheepish smile. Because I couldn't. I wish he had told me when we had watched it. That would have helped. So yeah, if you've listened this far, let me know those things. I know you guys did want a Q&A from Evelyn. And she also wanted to do an Animal Crossing video about Gulliver, and Gulliver. She just hasn't been around lately. And I honestly thought that her positivity would bring more people to the channel to help keep people there. Because I know I'm a negative Nancy. So, unfortunately, when you've been through what I've been through, you can't help but be a pessimist. Life is hard. And a lot of the people who went after me last year are young adults and have no fucking idea how the world is going to fuck them. Unless they're rich, of course. The world is going to fuck them front ways, back ways, and sideways. And they don't know it yet. Because they're entitled young adults. Plus, their personalities suck. So, still trying to figure out that lawsuit. Anyway, see, this is exactly why I did the thanking the patrons in the first, because I knew that I was going to rant, because guess what? Since I'm not in therapy yet, I have a lot to complain about. This is the stuff complaining. This is the I wish it were this, I wish it were that. It's like we started doing movie night weekly on one of Michael's days off. And we watched Soul the last time. And one of the characters said, this is my dream. I don't know why I don't feel more fulfilled. And the other character tells a story about a young fish who wanted to go to the ocean. And the old fish says, but this is water. That's good enough. And young fish is like, yeah, but I don't want water. I want the ocean. And it means that even if we have the things we need, we always want more. The thing is some of the things that we want are things that we should already be getting. The things that we don't want are things that we have that we wish we didn't. If one of you sickos came up to me and said, I have the cure for everything that's wrong with you, I would kiss your literal ass. And I would thank you for the rest of your life. I would owe my life to you if you found the cure for mental illness. I don't care if I hate you or not. If you had the cure, you would be a god to me. I wish I could zap my brain in the same way they do it in Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind. It's a really good movie. Just zap certain things away. Bye. I miss my hair. I have wigs, but I miss my hair. I'm gonna try really hard this time. And then, I'm gonna swear off starches for a while, because, I'm gonna start eating, shirataki noodles. Not shiitake. Shiitake are mushrooms. This is shirataki noodles, which are 0 calories and high in fiber. 2 things I desperately need. 'Cause I love pasta. It's a huge weakness of mine. I love pasta. So I'm feeling like the starches are really slowing me down, and I need to focus on other foods that do not contain starch. But the problem is our house right now, for my food, contains a lot of starch-based food. So I'm going to have to eat all that food before I, make a list of foods that I will now be eating that doesn't have starch in it, for, Michael and I to pick up from the grocery store and stuff. He usually goes to the grocery store after work, so I'm not usually there. Usually. So I'm probably gaining a little more weight from eating so many starches. Unfortunately, that stuff converts into sugar, and the sugar keeps your fat on, so, I just wish there was a healthy way to jumpstart your weight loss. If I could just have 20 pounds taken away from me like that, my hands are too sweaty to snap, then I could easily lose the rest. Because it's always starting that is the hardest part. And I haven't been able to up the resistance on my exercise bike because I'm still exhausted, and it means that I'm not getting anywhere. And last time I started losing weight, I actually made a lot of progress. And then shit hit the fan. And all the shit got everywhere. And it sucks because I love baking. I love it. It makes me so happy, and I can't do it because I'm the only one who can eat it. And because Michael is very picky. And I just wish there were materials that weren't edible that worked the same way as ingredients, so that you could bake something that you don't have to eat and that will never go bad. And maybe even dismantle it and bake it again or something. That would be so awesome. But then again, it's also the sweets that really help me. I like to eat for taste and texture. And I can't have that. And whatever psycho god is out there blessed Aaron with a rocking body. I feel like Meg Griffin, because she's got a smoking hot mom, but she's all dumpy. And I used to be smoking hot, even though I've always had a small chest. I used to be so cute, but my self-esteem was still so low that I didn't appreciate it. And you know what really set me back was going to Washington when I was 19. Because I was living with a roommate, and we didn't have a lot of money to feed ourselves. So I thought, I'm skinny, I've got high metabolism. But no, then I went to Washington, where I was fed properly. And because I had access to food, I ate more. I gained a lot of weight. And since then, there are moments where I haven't been that heavy, but in the last couple of years, I've been so heavy that my legs can't carry my body. I am lucky that my shins aren't hurting anymore. If it weren't for this damn ankle, my ankle brace just doesn't work. And on top of it, all the stress makes it so that all of my muscles are tense and I'm in pain constantly. I drink nothing but water and sparkling water, which is just water but carbonated. It doesn't have any sugar. It doesn't have any calories. It has nothing in it but water and bubbles, which has been helping me with my soda cravings very successfully. I tried bubbly, and I did like the lime, but it had such a bitter taste. And then I tried Voss, and that's the best. It has virtually no bitter taste at all, even when it gets warm and goes flat. And then Aha isn't too bad. It's somewhere in between bubbly and Voss. It still has a little bit of a bitter taste, but it's still kind of good. But I like Voss. It only has 2 flavors that they sell at Walgreens, which is the lemon cucumber and the raspberry rose, which is my favorite. So yeah, drinking Arizona green tea used to be my thing, but now it's sparkling water. I miss my green tea! I wish my happiness didn't rely on sweets. I wish I had more things to make me happy. It's like my life is a purse that has a couple of pockets that are holding the things that make me want to live. But the rest of the purse is just filled with like tampons, even though I don't use tampons, and gum wrappers and candy wrappers and receipts that are crumpled and from years ago, and probably some crumbs, just maybe some rat poop. Just... And then sitting neatly in the pockets are my husband, my children, and the people who actually, the small number of people who actually support me and like me and know the true me. Little pockets. And then even smaller pockets with, like, the things that I like cute things and sparkly things and shiny things and my hobbies and little tiny pockets. Or maybe those small things can be in all one pocket. Pocket of stuff that I like. I had a lot to say. Anyway, if you've listened this long and such, then, blah, 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 what I said before already. If I get an abundance of negative comments on this, I'm turning comments off again. And that will delay any Q&A that Evelyn's going to do. Because that will mean it's still not safe. I shouldn't have to fucking... Anyway... So, I don't know, if you liked this video for some reason, leave a like, spread the word of awesome, become a Reitannite, and don't forget to click the little bell, and I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Goodbye.